From automobiles to hospitality now, Brigade Hotel Ventures is set for a major expansion, doubling its portfolio over the next 4 to 5 years, with new properties coming up in Hyderabad, Kochi, Chennai, Bengaluru and Hosur. In an exclusive chat with me earlier today, Managing Director Nirupa Shankar told ET Now that a third of the upcoming hotels, most of them set for completion between FY28 and FY29, will be in the 5-star deluxe category, marking a clear shift towards the luxury segment. The company's Bengaluru portfolio, she added, has already seen a 19% jump in room rates this quarter, driven by strong corporate and MICE demand. Here's a slice of that conversation.
Great. Thank you so much for having me, Jude. It's been a while, so nice to be here. Yes, we have huge plans for Brigade Hotel Ventures. As you know, we just finished our IPO, which got done end of July. And one of the main reasons for that IPO and the fundraise was the fact that we are developing a lot of hotels. So currently we have 9 operating hotels, mostly in South India, except for the one in GIFT City. So those 9 hotels cover about 1,600 keys spread over 3 of the major operators.
Right.
So that's Marriott, Accor and Intercontinental Hotel Group. And the company has been in operations for almost 16, 17 years. And now we have plans to do another 9 more hotels in the next 4 to 5 years. Mm-hmm. So we're doubling up the portfolio. We're taking it from 9 to 18. And the new hotels are also with the top tier global operators. So there's Marriott, there's Hyatt, there's Intercon, and then there's one more new operator that we plan to work with. Mm-hmm. And what we plan to see is that the portfolio is going to see a little bit of a change. We're going to move into more of the 5-star deluxe category, so in the luxury category. So our portfolio currently has only 1 in the luxury category, but now we're going to have almost a third of the portfolio in the luxury deluxe category. So we're going to have hotels such as the Ritz-Carlton in Kochi. It's actually Vaikom. It's right very close to Kochi.
Right.
It's an island resort.
Yes.
We're going to have the Intercontinental Hotel in Hyderabad. Mm-hmm. We're going to have a Grand Hyatt right on the beachfront in Chennai on the ECR Road. So those are going to be 3 very large scale hotels and very high end luxury. Mm-hmm. So we're very excited about that because it's a segment that we're very keen to operate in.
Right.
And then we're going to have 2 Fairfields, both based in Bangalore, on 2 very different micro markets. Mm-hmm. One where the current airport is, and one where the new airport is potentially coming up in Hosur. Mm-hmm. So 2 Fairfields near 2 airport locations. And apart from that, as you know, Brigade works in all asset classes, so we like to do a lot of mixed-use townships. So we have a Courtyard coming up in our World Trade Center Chennai campus, mm-hmm. and then we have a Marriott coming up in our World Trade Center Trivandrum campus.
Right.
So that's still under construction. Apart from that, we've just bought a hotel, a land for a hotel near the Bangalore International Exhibition Center. Mm-hmm. So we bought about 2.5 acres there. So we plan to do an exhibition center centric hospitality product.
That's a whole lot of launch activity in South India, and you seem to have clearly stepped on the launch button insofar as these properties are concerned. But very quickly, how many keys does this translate to for the ongoing fiscal and the upcoming fiscal? What's that number like, and how does it divide across both years?
So, as you know, hotels are, I would say, the most complicated real estate asset class if I look at residential, office, retail and hospitality. They take some time to build, and Brigade as builders, we like to do these from greenfield products because we believe that we can build it very efficiently. We believe we can build it most cost effectively. So it will take about 3.5 years for these hotels to come up. So I would say most of them would come towards the end of 28, beginning 29, towards the end of 29. So but there is one product which is a 45 key hotel as part of the World Trade Center Chennai campus. So it's a Courtyard. That the warm shell had already been created prior to COVID. Then we put it on hold, but now we are in the process of getting it done. So that will come in FY27. But apart from that, I would say end of 28, 29, and then maybe 1 or 2 in 30 as well.
Right. Even as you have all of this in the pipeline, the numbers make for some very interesting reading. I think revenue from F&B is up 14%. Right. Your RevPAR is up around the same number as well. Even as your average daily room rents have also seen a very healthy rise.
Yeah.
What's the trend going forward, Nirupa, insofar as your properties are concerned? And how does that tie in with your projections of the overall hospitality market in South India and, of course, India itself?
So we've been pretty happy with the way this quarter has performed, because currently, as you know, it's an operating portfolio. Q2 is generally not known to be the strongest quarter. I would say H1 generally is much weaker than H2. But considering how Q2 went in terms of, having Dasara celebrations and a few holidays as well, we're pretty happy. We saw overall revenue growth jump of about 20%. And while the ARR jumped by about 14% overall for the portfolio, and the RevPAR also, like you rightly said, jumped by the similar amount, Bangalore, where most of our hotels are, the ARR jumped by almost 19%.
Right.
So we're pretty happy with that, because it is much harder to do an ARR play than just an occupancy play. Occupancy remained somewhat the same. In Bangalore, though it dipped because we went from 81 to 75, if
I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, the portfolio is at 75%, but Bangalore had a very high percentage of 81% in any case. So that dipped a little bit to 78%, but in the grand scheme of things, it worked out because the ARR saw the 19% increase. Right. I think comparatively to India, we did much better. The India average saw, I think, a 0% increase in occupancy, but maybe 7% increase in the overall ARR, and hence 7% increase in the RevPAR. Bangalore per se saw a very good increase in ARR. I think it was closer to 24% in terms of ARR, and maybe 2-3% increase, or 2-3% dip rather than the occupancy. Chennai also saw, I think, a 14-15% increase in the ARR. So we are pretty, we did similar to how the industry did, and specifically to our markets, I think we did equally or slightly better to the market.
Right. Yeah. And where do you see the industry going from here? I very recently spoke to a bunch of players in the online travel space, and Chennai, Hyderabad and Bengaluru were always holding promise as great outbound markets. But insofar as inbound travel is concerned, tourist activity, hospitality, where do you see these numbers stacking up in the near to medium term? What is your projection in terms of tourist activity and the hospitality sector's performance in these major cities?
Yeah. So looking at the major markets, whether you look at Bangalore, Chennai, these are primarily business markets. There's hardly any tourism. If I have to say, almost say 30% of the business, I'm just looking at Bangalore, for instance, and I think Chennai will be pretty similar. 30% of the business comes from pure corporate business, which is negotiated contract rates. Maybe about 40% or 20% comes from MICE, and another 40% comes from retail business, which is free individual travelers booking, but these are all corporate business as well. So I would say 70% of the business, the 30% corporate negotiated and the free individual travelers booking, is coming from the business segment. Then maybe another 15 to 20% is coming from the MICE business, so for conferences. And the balance could just be very few retail, maybe crew, I would say 7% crew. So tourism activity in Bangalore and Chennai, I would say, is hardly anything. It's primarily driven by business and corporate business and MICE.
Right.
So I would say that continues. And if you look at the airport travel, the number of people entering the airports, you'll get a good indication as to the amount of business travelers coming into these markets. So airports are doing extremely well. For instance, Bangalore has almost 40 million people coming into its airport. That's slated to grow to almost 60 million. So very healthy business, I would say. And yes, I know there's a lot of talk on how AI is disrupting IT, but on ground, we're seeing travelers continuing to come into these markets. It's not disrupting business travel from what I see.
Right.
But an interesting fact to note is that, prior to COVID, I would say 60% of our business came from foreigners or from outside of India, and 40% was domestic business travel and 60% was international. But now, and then in the middle it became 50-50. And then, but now I'm seeing 75% of the travel coming from domestic business travelers and maybe only 25% from international.
Absolutely. And
so that's an interesting
very encouraging statistics there insofar as the corporate travel segment is concerned. In terms of pure play tourism itself, and like you rightly said, which isn't quite the case in the big cities, at least as much as the corporate segment goes, where do you see the most potential for it in South India? And as a hotelier, how do you look to capitalize?
You know, the big tourist markets, I would say in South India is more wellness driven. Like a lot of people would probably go to Kerala for the wellness market. And I would say India can do really well from a wellness perspective. I think that is an industry that is only going to grow as time comes. We don't have, you know, apart from the temple tourism that we see, from a luxury leisure perspective, there aren't too many, I would say, Kerala for wellness. And what I see is that any location within a 5-hour driving distance of the major cities is a good place for leisure, I would say. So if you're looking at Coorg or Chikmagalur or someplace maybe from Chennai, maybe going to Kunur, those are potential wellness locations, I would say, which I can see developing.
Right. So going forward itself, where do you see the big growth drivers insofar as hospitality in South India is concerned? I know for a fact that you've seen more or less uniform growth. You mentioned, of course, that occupancy has rather remained uniform. But what's that one big area of growth that hoteliers are betting on insofar as this region is concerned? Is it going to be F&B? Is it going to be MICE? Where do you put a bulk of your bets on insofar as the hospitality space goes?
See, I think there are 2-3 major revenue drivers, right? There is either your rooms business, where you can drive ARR, because beyond a point, beyond 75-80% occupancy, there's only so much you can drive on the occupancy front. So I think ARR is the major play when it comes to rooms. When it comes to banquet spaces, I personally like having as large a banquet hall as a hotel can manage, because that is a big driver of business. Almost like I said earlier, 20% of the business growth can come from large banquets and MICE businesses. I like F&B because with the same inventory or the same infrastructure, you can sort of glean more from the same business by doing outdoor catering or by doing outdoor large MICE conferences. So the outdoor catering business is something you can grow, keeping your same infrastructure in place. So I would say each different income generating line has a lever that you can operate with. So sometimes if rooms you're seeing flat, then perhaps you can push the F&B business. So I can't.
So you don't see one clear growth driver actually driving each of these segments in your own?
It depends on what the hotel has. Like in large luxury destinations, large luxury hotels, all of us are building out our banquet spaces because you can play on weddings, you can play on conferences, the MICE business, So I think that is a huge driver, and F&B can contribute even up to 50 to sometimes even 55% of the top line.
Right.
But in smaller hotels, in more 4-star, 5-star hotels where the banquet hall is not that much, F&B can contribute only maybe between 25 to 30%. On average, I'm saying 27%. So then there's not that much you can do. Then you have to bank on outdoor catering and other things that are not within the hotel premises. But I would say all these are levers that we have to sort of play with depending on the season that we have.
Right.
Yeah. So wedding season, you push all the F&B, that might help you drive your business. In other seasons, you might want to push on other levers.
Right. I want to focus on a couple of statistics before we end, and that is, of course, RevPAR and ADR. Both those numbers, in fact, saw steep fall, you would know, during the COVID times when travel had almost ground to a standstill, only to see an inflection point therein, and it's never stopped growing ever since, and you can correct me if I'm wrong. Where do you see the industry's RevPAR and ADR growth in the medium term? Do you think this growth trajectory can be maintained? Do you see some sort of plateauing in the near to medium term? And if yes, what kind of factors would weigh in on it? Do you see headwinds at all? Or do you feel that this present rate of growth will continue into the medium term?
See, typically we like to be pretty conservative. Like when we look at the industry or when we are making our projections, you want to take not a very aggressive increase in your ARR, because it is hard, because especially when it comes to business hotels, you've already contracted some of your large accounts. You already have pre-contracted rates. So there's very little room to play. The only room you have to play is probably in the retail segment.
Yes.
So I would say the market is still doing well. Hospitality segment is still doing well. I don't see any reason why growth cannot remain in the mid-teens to high teens. Mid-teens to high teens is where I would leave it at. Anything above and beyond that is a very good performance. I would say we still have room to grow in this space, and it would mostly come from ARR because most of the portfolios, if they're already trending at high 70s to early 80s, there's very little room to play there, I would say.
Right.
So that's how I would put it. I think we still have room to grow. I'm happy to see the hotels doing these fantastic ARRs because it's very, I would say finally the hotels are getting the ARR they deserve. Prior to COVID, they were all very cost effectively priced and maybe priced too low, according to me.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And one last question before I let you go. I know for a fact that you're expanding all across the South. You mentioned the different destinations and the categories that you are getting in. But if you were to pick one out of these many regions or markets
Just in the South
that you're the most excited about, which one would it be? I know that you said Kerala is great for wellness, to an extent Tamil Nadu and Chennai for its beaches, and the tourist activity there and thereof. But which is your one big pick from South India insofar as hospitality and tourist potential goes?
That's a tough one, but 40% of our portfolio is still in Bangalore, and I still think Bangalore has room to grow.
Right.
I love areas just on the outskirts of Bangalore also, because I think it's really interesting to see how hotels on the outskirts of Bangalore are doing sometimes better than city-centric hotels. So I think that there's a good play there. Bangaloreans also, on the outskirts of Bangalore, you can do MICE, you can do weddings, you can do staycations. It feels like leisure. So I think that would be my hot pick.
All right. Well, Nirupa Shankar, they're telling us how Brigade is excited about its expansion roadmap in South India, but is still betting big on Bengaluru. Right, moving on to the